Earlier today, when I was online, I saw a headline for an article that claims that Japan is now ready to launch their first flying car. Now, I don't know whether this story is true or not, but let's face it. We're looking down the barrel of a lot of inevitabilities, aren't we? We've been talking about flying cars since we've had cars, right? And we've been talking about having wireless phones since they created, or even before they created, the telephone, right? So we have to kind of assume that regardless of how we feel or what our opinions are, that this is something they really do want to make happen, having flying cars. But anybody with half a brain would consider the catastrophic effects that would have to take place, are going to take place if this occurs. Now, this video is not all about flying cars. I am going somewhere with this, so please stick with me. But can you imagine, we can't get people to act responsibly behind the wheel on just regular roads, right? There'd have to be a lot of automation involved where essentially there is no driver except a system put into place. And even then, failures could occur. Imagine walking your dog and something comes crashing down on you, or sitting in your house, binge watching something on Netflix, or just trying to enjoy your dinner, or having a picnic somewhere, and things just fall out of the sky, right? We think about things like this, but this is what they say. But another thing they've been talking about for a long time is self-driving cars. And this is something that we have actually seen materialize, right? And we've seen the stories. I would never trust myself. Well, I would trust myself. I would never trust a vehicle that could drive itself. You hear about these people falling asleep behind the wheel, and then they put these programs in place that won't let you do that, or will stop driving if you do fall asleep. You got to have some kind of autonomy over the vehicle, right? But why? Is this an admittance that things probably could go wrong? Well, I think so, but that's beside the point. Apparently it is to them. And then you have these taxis now, or I don't know if they're Ubers or Lyfts or just taxis. I don't know what they are. That can pick up somebody, take them to their destination without ever having to interact with a driver. And some of the stories we've seen are such as these things not dropping people off where they're supposed to be going, or just driving in circles, or going down roads, like scores of them, just going down one particular road like a cul-de-sac and making their turn and coming back, and people in the neighborhood are scratching their heads like, well, what is going on? We know that things there are kinks that have to be worked out, right? We understand that, we accept that, but at what cost? So, San Francisco is a veritable testing ground for automated vehicles. Well, whether you realize it or not, it is, because it's located in close proximity to the Silicon Valley. Google has these computerized grids already mapped out, probably for this purpose. I mean, they have a lot of roads and everything mapped out too, but I'm talking about on a more intensive, specifically targeted way, right? So this is, like I said, a veritable testing ground for these autonomous, self-driving vehicles. And there has been a problem or two, many of which we probably never hear about, but here's one example. One night, a San Francisco police officer saw a Chevy, what is this, a Bolt? Chevy Bolt? I think that's what it was. He saw this car without its headlights on at night, which is a traffic violation. So he attempted to pull this car over, pull it behind it, and turn on his lights, and the car did pull over. And then when he got out of his car and approached it, the car took off, and the officer proceeded to mate chase, and then not long after that, the car did pull over, and the officer walked back up to it and realized there's no driver. Now, how do you ticket, how do you deal with a situation in which there is no driver, but there is an offense? Rules have been put in place, boundaries have been established to keep people safe, right? Laws are not there to spoil our fun. They're not there to keep us from getting us where we want to go, right? But regardless of what is in play, there are certain things that have to be abided by. So I'm not really talking about cars anymore. There's a lot of you guys, maybe some of you gals, that are in relationships. Perhaps you're just dating around, you're looking hither and thither. You're lifting up the rocks to see what's underneath them. You're pulling up the sofa cushions to see who's behind them. Hopefully it's not where you find a body, but nevertheless, this is what we do. You know, when we're looking for potential spouses, right? For potential mates, you know, whether it's long-term, short-term, whatever the case might be, relationships. And you might be thinking about actually getting married. You've been in a relationship for a while and you think about getting married, but I want to fire a shot across the bow before it's too late, because so many of us will pull the trigger on something thinking that eventually all the kinks will get ironed out, right? All the wrinkles will soon disappear, and as time goes on, we are out of the prototype stage where relationships are concerned. But I will tell you, there's a difference between man and machine. You see, when a machine, like a robot or a self-driving car, begins to have enough autonomy to make human-like mistakes, we look at that and say, look how advanced it is now. It can actually act like a human. Why do we consider that progress? But when a human continues to make its same human mistakes, we don't look at that and say that that's progress. We wish they could be a little more machine-like in that way and kind of grow out of whatever stage they're in and get better. And it just generally doesn't. We think things are going to get better when they don't. If you've ever been in a relationship with somebody and you want to have a talk with them, you need to confront something. Maybe it's not even something that they're doing wrong. Maybe it's something that just bothers you, and maybe your hair, the hair in the back of your neck bristled a little bit, or maybe, you know, whatever it is, you need to confront the other person and say, hey, we need to have a discussion about this. I'm sure that you have had somebody just look at you. You know, have that deer in the headlights look. This is that vacancy that we're talking about. This is a driverless car. All right? A driverless car. How do you approach someone about an offense or about an infraction or about a safety hazard when there's no driver? What do you do in that situation? I mean, you think they behave like a regular person, right? Just because something is shiny and new, maybe it's new on the market, maybe it's new to you, it looks good, it seems like it would be fun. Look what he, she, whoever, look what they can do. Isn't this amazing? But then they act a little too human. And then when you try to approach them about something, they bolt, they take off. Yeah, they take off. And when you confront them, you realize there's nobody behind the wheel. Let me tell you something. When it comes to humans, it doesn't get better. It gets worse. You can reprogram a car. You can work on it. They won't give you a lot of beef. It just is what it is. It's up to you. You know, you can change that, but it's murder for the people trying to deal with it, you know. But at least a machine can function properly at some point. Humans are much more complicated, and you know, there's the internet is resplendent with stories about people who just could not get through to somebody. You probably have had friends, maybe you've had lunch or dinner with friends, or conversations over the phone, or in text with a buddy of yours, or whoever, a guy friend, a girlfriend, and have these conversations where like, nothing's there. I try to talk to them, but there's no driver behind the wheel. If you think that that's just a prototype stage, if you think that's just going to get better, I'm gonna let you know right now, it's not. It's not. So consider that, because listen, you'll get in deep. You've heard about these driverless cars, right? That people couldn't get out of. They continue to make circles, and they couldn't get out of the car. Can you imagine being in one of those for years? And you will be, if you don't listen to what I'm telling you. It's a very real thing, and I hope that you heed my advice on this. I've lived long enough to know. I'm not speaking about, if anybody watches this video and thinks, are they talking about me? No, I'm not. That's one of the consequences of making videos. Somebody always thinks you're talking about them. I'm not. I'm spreading my net wide. I'm talking generally, and this could apply. Listen, if the shoe fits, wear it. But I'm just saying, I'm not talking about any one person. I'm talking to the general public. And I really hope that this reaches the right person at the right time before you pull the trigger and overinvest yourself, and then you're stuck. Or at least you think you are. You feel like you are for years. And then this all comes at a great cost to you. We've all seen it. Stay away from the driverless cars. No, I don't mean the real cars. You know what I'm talking about, okay? Stay away from those, and I think you'll be all right. The people who can't take responsibility. You know, what's shiny and new is not always the best thing around. And, you know, as you become aware of these things, you can't unknow them. You become better at them. But some things still lure us in, right? They still lure us in because we think, well, this time will be different. We've come a long ways, baby. But perhaps you really haven't. Okay? All right. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it has meant something to you. I really wanted to make this video outside while I was walking, but I'm kind of in a position. It's going to thunderstorm here in just a few minutes. I didn't want to get caught in it. More than that, I just didn't want to get struck by lightning. It does happen down here. I live in the lightning capital of the world. So, anyway, all right, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'll catch you in the next one. In the meantime, be wise.